Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start by giving our praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, B'Hasham, Rechah HaKodash, the honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, pushing this word without truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom, shalom. This is your brother Quan Wealth of the Great Millstone Charlotte Camp, coming with a quick lesson through the Spirit and Prophet Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai. And this evening, I just want to touch on the topic, doing a quick land back on the elder brother Amon Gabar, right, going into stability, man, right? And we're witnessing the stability that this truth offers, man, right? And as things start to intensify through prophecy, we're going to continue to see, and the world is going to see the stability that the Spirit of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai is going to lend and give to the men that serve, man, right? To the believers, right? You know, Lord willing, to their families, right? We're about to see a showcase, right, of that ultimate stability, which goes back to your faith, right? That's why it says it tells you, if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength was small, man. That strength going into your faith, right? And that's why these lessons continue to go out, because the Lord is preparing the minds of the elect, right, for these times to come, man. Where this world is preparing you in carnal fashions, the Lord is allowing his men to teach in a way that's allowing your spirit to be prepared for these times to come, man. Because that's where the true trial is coming, right? To test your faith, whether you continue in the faith, you know? But starting here, Isaiah 33:6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure, right? So that wisdom and knowledge is affording us the stability, that unwaveringness, right? You know, to this day, right? And continuing on into our troubles, man, right? And we're seeing, or we're going to see, that be magnified in these days to come, right? Because the storm is going to begin to get stronger and stronger. Those winds, those temptations are going to continue to, push against us, man, right? But what's the scriptures tell you, right? To set your house in order, right? To set your spirit in order, right? To be able to withstand these forces, right? Actually, let's get that, right? Ephesians 5, 6. Yep, it's Ephesians 6:13. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand, right? And we're able to withstand things in this current moment, so how much more is it going to be necessary, right, during Jacob's trouble, during the times of famine, right, during the times of the mark of the beast being implemented, man, right, during sedition, That's where that stability is going to shine, right? That wisdom making the man's face to shine, right? These men, Lord willing, we be a part of that number, are going to be, beacons of hope, right? Beacons of stability for believers, man, right? That's a part of that standard that's being lifted up, is these men being those, symbols of stability, man, through the Spirit of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? Let's get this in Jeremiah. This is Jeremiah 29 and verse 11, right? Because this is why we continue in this faith, right? To the degree that we have, starting with our leadership, man, right? It says, for I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end, right? Because we have an expected end. We have something that we're looking forward to, right? We have something to push forward, right? We have something to keep on our mind, our mind's eye and single, right? In order to continue the fight, to finish the fight, right? To get to that goal, that end goal, right? Which the rest of this world doesn't have, man. That's what it tells you, right? Where there is no vision, the people perish, man. Right? They're spiritually dead because they can't see anything beyond Babylon the Great. They can't see anything behind their own bellies. They can't see anything, right, outside of themselves, right, or their own interests, right? The work of the prophets is seeing the end being the kingdom, man, right? And doing whatever it takes to get there, right? And being able to endure whatever you have to endure and stand firm in our convictions, man, right? And our faith to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai at all costs, right? That's that expected end, right? Like it says in the NLT, that future hope, or that future and the hope, right? There's no hope for Babylon. There's no hope for 2/3. There's no hope, right? For for the heathen, right? All their hopes are tied into this current power structure, man, right? And that's why their stability is going to continue, is going to shake, right, until the time of its ultimate fall, right? Let's go to Ephesians 5. It's the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, and we'll start in 15. It reads, "See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil," right? And you redeem that time, right, by strengthening your relationship with the Lord, man, right? Through your studies, through your prayer, right? Through the works, right, that prove your faith, right? All these things are strengthening, are strengthening your faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? Deepening your roots, right? So that when that storm comes again, you won't be blown away in it. It says, "Redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is," right? And again, Isaiah 33:6, right? "Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times," man, right? That wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? Understanding what the will of the Lord is. That's going to keep you from bugging out like you see people doing, man, right? All the crash outs, people worried about bills, people worried about their families, people worried about all these different things, food, right? Where they're going to live, all these things are worries of the flesh, of somebody who doesn't have the understanding, man, right? Because they don't understand what the will of the Lord is. They don't understand why these things are taking place. They're worried about World War III. They're worried about the economy collapsing, right? They're worried about, going into the draft and things of that nature, man. They're worried about these different plagues and pestilences, right? All these worries, right, are things that the elect, though we be in the flesh, they may hit us, but we have the understanding to stabilize us, man, right? Going back to that point, right? And we're seeing that in works right now, and we're going to see it magnify itself even greater in these times to come. So going back, actually, let's read this in the NLT. It says, "Don't act thoughtlessly, but understand what the Lord wants you to do," right? And what he has planned, that's what Yahweh Shai say, "I see you as not as servants, but as friends," man, right? Because a friend knows what the will of the master is, roughly paraphrasing, man, right? And we understand the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai in the earth, right? And so we're not going to be shaken when these times come, right? We're going to have that stability, that rock, that sure foundation, right? Starting with the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai dealing with us, man, right? Let's get this real quick, and then we can close, because there was a point in here in Isaiah 65:13 when you read the commentary, right? But it's Isaiah 65:13. This is why we're going to be at ease. We're going to be mentally sound in these days, man, right? Because that's that stability, right? Being of sound mind, right? Because the wisdom is sound, man. When you have 100% truth, right, there's no flaws in it, right? So now you have that surety, man, right? Isaiah 65:13. "Therefore thus saith the Lord power, Behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. Right? So that's what we're seeing now. So how much more, right, as the scriptures say, in the green tree, or how much more in the brown tree, man, that dry tree, rather, right? We see what the world is doing right now in regards to, people crashing out for the lack of resources, right? So how much more when there's nothing left, man, right? They have access to nothing, But again, we have that faith, right, that the Lord is going to protect us, man. And it tells you why. The reason I wanted to grab this here in the David Guzik biblical commentary. Let's see. Yep. It says, because of this, the true servants of the Most High among the remnant will be blessed, right? So these are the true servants, man, right? Those who serve Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai in spirit and in truth, right? The Israel of the Most High, right? that chosen seed, the elect, right? The remnant is who is being protected, man, right? And the remnant is going to have this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, again, to stabilize them in these times to come, right? So just a quick, lesson through the spirit and probably how about Shemi was shy, laying back and off that brother, man, right? This wisdom, right, is showing the stability, right? Or rather, the stability is being shown through this wisdom, right? Before our eyes, man, right? So Lord willing, us edifying through the spirit and probably how about Shemi was shy again. I'm going to close by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rekha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. And peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, pushing his word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom, shalom. Kwame Yasharallah and the Bible Bar. Shalom.